I pretty much spent my entire weekend playing Blue Protocol Star Residence in China, and I want to say this is going to be one of the most promising anime game coming up. And in this video, I want to give it my first impression, talk about what's good about it, talk about what is some aspect to watch out for, and most importantly, how is it different from the original Blue Protocol. Starting with the very last one, because that is the most asked question on my stream. Blue Protocol originally was developed by the Japanese developer Bandai Namco, however the project ended up shutting down sometime this year. Tenten, which is the Chinese developer, ended up buying this game out and doing a complete redevelop for this game. Kind of like how there is the original Blade and Soul and then there is the Blade and Soul Neo version. So Blue Protocol Star Residence is a completely new version of the original Blue Protocol. However, the most important thing about this game is that while this game might look like the original Blue Protocol and you might see familiar aspect about it here and there, for the most part, about 90% this game plays dramatically different from the original Blue Protocol, from the way the combat is, from the way the end game is, from the way the system design is. So it's more properly to call this game just Star Residence than to refer to as Blue Protocol Star Residence. Star Residence so far is already a massive success in China with over 2 million pre-registered players, and of course with other regions already starting to pick up this game is already announced to be released in the Taiwan, Hong Kong and Macau region sometime soon following China, and probably is going to make our way for sure this time into global, depending on which publisher end up actually picking it up. And with that being said, let's talk about my overall first impression of Star Residence. And as always, if you're enjoying this video, if you would like more Star Residence news, update and guide like that, be sure to subscribe to the channel because this is a very hype game. One of the first things you will notice about Star Residence is that it looked like a mobile gacha game, because it kind of is. However, rest assured that for the most part, this game played like a PC MMO and definitely has the quality of other PC MMO game as well. Tencent definitely fully developed this game with mobile in mind and as a priority, so there's going to be some limitation there. UI that reassemble other gacha games like Genshin Impact, shop or monetization method that reassemble other gacha games like monthly welcome, where you get like a little bit of premium currency every day for logging in every single day, and of course most importantly the top up bonus, and most importantly the gachas, which fortunately is costume only. More on this later when we talk about the topic of pay to win. This game definitely have a lot of casual social element that they're trying to focus on. For example, dancing in the field is literally one of your daily. Your daily quests are literally something as simple as like type in the chat 3 times, take a picture of your friends, go fishing and stuff like that. There's a guild system that I think accumulate up to 80 people with maybe the potential to expand for more, and there's a lot of different guild activity like while dancing around with your guild, or like guild hunting, guild raid and stuff like that. So there's a lot of social aspect when it comes down to this game. With that being said, the world is absolutely super amazing to explore in. It has a very beautiful scenery, and most importantly there's a lot of tools to help you explore. Right now at my current level, I can do a 5 times jump. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 times. I can jump 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and then you can turn it into like a glider or something like that. The world is very beautiful to explore in. There are hidden chests all over the place for the premium gacha currencies, so for casual player this is a really good thing. The world map is absolutely massive, so there's a lot to explore in. The world map has been completely changed compared to the original Blue Protocol. For the most part we are just playing in this region because the other regions has not yet been unlocked. So there's going to be the top region right here, the forest that unlock in 10 days, the rainforest that unlock in 14 days, and of course the abyss that unlock in 7 days. One of the most important things to address for this video is that it is very time gated for this beta, and it will also likely be the case for release. We're getting a level cap increase of 3 levels every single day. So yesterday the level cap was level 36, and today we can go up to level 39. Level 40 and beyond is not unlocked. This means majority of the content is currently locked and is not able to be experienced. They do have a calendar on when they're expecting to unlock stuff. For example, on April 30th, they unlock the brand new trial dungeon. And then on May 4th, there's the Wind Dragon dungeon and stuff like that. So it's at the current moment, I think it is hard for us to say what the end game really look like, which is why this video is a first impression rather than a full review. I do stream the game regularly on Twitch if you want to follow along with the development journey. Otherwise, you can subscribe to see the full review sometimes later, probably closer to June and stuff like that. Now, between the mobile gacha and the time gate, this might immediately remind a lot of people about Tower Fantasy. However, once again, I rest assured that this game for the most part play like a proper PC MMO, especially its combat. Star Residence play like a semi-action tap target, kind of like Throne and Liberty, where it is kind of action combat, but for the most part it is still tap target. You can tap onto your target to lock on and attack them that way. When it comes down to combat, there's currently 7 classes available in the game. 4 of these are DPS, including archers, katanas, mage, lancers, and then a healer class, finally 2 tank or supporter, which are going to be whatever this thing is, and the sword and shield. For the most part, this game kind of play on a holy trinity item. Healer is obviously really important for endgame dungeon run, but tanks are very useful for mechanics or even soaking damage with damage reduction and stuff like that. Every single class come with 2 playstyles, which is like 2 subclass. For example, for the archer class, there is the wolf playstyles, which you do damage by summoning a bunch of wolf, or the hawk playstyles, which do damage by actually firing arrow. This is the current class I'm playing and stuff like that. Every single class come with a basic attack skills, a special skills, and finally an ultimate by default. And finally, you can choose up to 4 skills to equip, and of course 2 summon that are going to be available as well. But beyond that, there is the talent tree. So once you have fully unlocked the basic talent tree for your job, you're able to then specialize into a specific spec, which is again, of course, the subclass, as I mentioned before, like the doggo subclass for archers, or the hawk style, which is what I'm playing. And then from here on, you can start changing what your skill does and picking what skill tree you really want. These kind of changes how your skill tree interact with each other and allow you to specialize into like a specific combo or something like that. While the combat looks simple because there's only so many buttons, it is definitely really satisfying to play. It is not just a button masher where you just hit every single button off cooldown. There's like a specific combo or rotation you actually have to do if you want to maximize your damage, which is a really good thing. Every single class have a specific class resources. So for example, you can see on the bottom of the screen right here, there are these lightning symbol, and I can get the lightning symbol by using my charging skills like this, and then I can later proc the symbols to do more damage. Now you guys might have noticed I swapped to a katana class. In Star Residence, you're able to acquire and learn every single class on the same characters, and the gear for the most part will transfer over. You can use the same gear, they will just be on the wrong stat, so you just have to get a new weapon or a new stat if that's what you're looking for. Right? You can change every class very easily, so here I can change from a katana back to an archer, and as long as I put a bow back up, I'm able to go back to my archer's class. Now, one of the problem I've noticed is that the only way to be able to unlock class seems to be the premium item. So in the cash shop, there is this item, the Hero's Wheel, that lets you learn and unlock a new class. And as far as I know, you get one of these for free, but the rest of them you have to pay with premium currencies. With that being said, the boss fight in this game is definitely fun and satisfying with many incorporated mechanics, so it's not, again, like just like button mashers. You see familiar mechanics like spread or soak damage, similar to Final Fantasy XIV. Even starting from the first dungeon, they start introducing party wipe mechanics like this one, where you have to like bounce a ball around the boss shield and actually hit him from the back, or otherwise you cause a party wipe. Despite the potential simplicity of the combat or even the graphics, I think dungeon in this game is actually hard and challenging, and most importantly, they're very fun to do. For the most part, this game is a dungeon grinder, so you're going to be spending majority of your time doing dungeon and grinding dungeon to get your gear. The way dungeon work in this game is that every single day there is a random dungeon on a rotation, and this is the baby mode. So you can do this 2 days every single time, and you can get a bunch of basic reward that way. This baby mode dungeon is really easy to do. It doesn't require any gear, it's like equalized, and you can even do it solo with bots. This is meant for a casual player or beginner player to kind of get a feel of what a dungeon look like, maybe even the dungeon mechanics, and I think this one doesn't wipe you. However, for the actual players, for the like more into the game, semi-hardcore, some casual player, there's the actual dungeon, which are the challenge mode. So every single dungeon have 3 difficulty. There is the basic difficulty, the hard difficulty, and then finally the nightmare difficulty that currently is not available yet. For the most part, dungeon gameplay plays very similar to Final Fantasy XIV. Again, you'll see obvious attack pattern like spread, soaks, cut line, similar to Final Fantasy XIV, but of course otherwise there is the party wipe mechanics that is available in every single dungeon. The developer actually ended up nerfing 2 of the dungeon already in the beta just because they were a little too difficult, so they had to tune down the numbers a little bit. Now let's talk about the most important thing. Dungeon in this game don't use the gacha energy system, blessing system, whatever. Dungeon can be grind infinitely with no limit. There is no gacha's energy system when it comes down to dungeon. You can grind for as long as you want. I think overall there seems to be a very good balance between casual and hardcore. You can choose to farm the normal difficulty if you want, or you can get a group going to challenge the hard difficulty, which actually a lot of groups aren't able to currently get through right now. Or if you're simply like a casual player, you're just here to explore the world because it's look cute and stuff like that. There's a lot to do, but also of course you got the daily baby rotation dungeon that doesn't have a gear score requirement at all. Likewise, there is world boss in this game. However, the world boss, just like dungeon, can be grinded infinitely. There isn't really a limit, so you can grind all day all night if you want to. For world boss, every single day you get 2 keys that allow you to open up a chest after the boss is defeated to get extra special reward, which including crafting material for the familiars or summons and stuff like that. However, world boss can be infinitely grinded after the daily key to get their basic reward, which for the most part is going to be the purple shard here that you can get, or in some cases you can even get legendary gear drop. By the way, this is where I actually want to point out there's auto battle in the game. You can actually see the word auto on my skill bar right now, so I'm actually not even touching my keyboard. So hunting world boss is actually pretty relaxing. You just put it on auto and you go eat dinner or something like that. Overall, the game has many different ways to approach it, casual or hardcore alike. For example, in the daily quest, you want to get to 200 points of daily activity using any of the method here. You can get to 500 points optionally for a bonus extra chest, but it gives very little. 200 is enough to get majority of the reward, which is where most of your EXP is. And there's many different ways you can approach this problem, like dancing in the field that I talked about, type in chat 3 times, pet the dog, take a pictures, do fishings. However, for the player who are more into gameplay, they can simply do the dungeon instead. And these are repeatable, so just by doing your dungeons or even grinding dungeons, you can easily complete your daily quest. You don't have to go out of your way to do the other stuff like fishing if you don't want to. Although life skill is extremely important to do to upgrade your gear, so you actually still kind of have to do the non-combat stuff. One of the things you would notice is that this life skill thing actually uses a energy system. By the way, this part of the game kind of reminds me of Mabinogi, if anyone else has also played that game before. Woo. There is a life skill system in the game, including gathering resources or combining stuff. It uses a energy system that you can get or even swipe for more energy. I don't think this refill to full every single day, so you don't have to do it every single day, but it is a thing. Unfortunately, even though there's auto battle in the game, there's no auto life skill in the game, so you actually have to do all the life skill manually, and I actually kind of wish they would do auto life skill in this game, so maybe we'll see. Life skills acquired material is used to upgrade your gear in this game, and oh boy, this is where the fun part is, because upgrading gear is RNG. There's a lot of different gearing avenue system in this game. Some of these are RNG, some of these are pretty friendly. Of course, obviously you have like stat line on your weapon, so every single weapon can roll different stat lines, so you're gonna have to look for the weapon with the right stat line. There's this thing called mastery, which is a random upgrade every single time, and you can put in blessing items to increase its chances, so it is like an RNG upgrade. But there's also a lot of area where it's very friendly as well. For example, the mastery system, this is again the RNG upgrade, and I'm currently at grade 3. This here actually carry across weapons, so this is a permanent upgrade. You only have to do this once. Currently, this is on the purple bow, but as soon as I switch weapon, let's say I switch to a different weapon, I switch to the level 10 green bow, you can see that it immediately is carried over. So you only have to deal with this once. It is not like every single time you get a new weapon, you have to come back and go through the RNG again. Likewise, there's other stuff like the perfection, like honing, but when you dismantle this weapon, you actually get all the material that you put in back. So you can hone or upgrade your gear all you want, because as soon as you move on to the next gear, you don't really lose gear, you don't really lose progression that way. It refunds you like pretty much everything. So far, it looked like gear is relatively easy to acquire. Obviously, you want to grind dungeon run to get good drops, but for a casual player, for a basic player, you can actually just come in and trade for the daily gear. You can use these purple shards to trade for like a full set of purple gear, and once again, these things come from your daily activity, like the baby mode dungeon, world boss, and stuff like that. So it's very easy for casual player to acquire all of these stuff and stuff. Now, this is the part where people would like to ask, is this game free to play friendly or is it pay to win? To be quite honest, I have no idea. I haven't gotten that far yet. I know that gear cannot be sold on the auction house. At least I haven't really seen any gear being sold on the auction house. However, you can buy pretty much all the material you need from the auction house to upgrade your characters or your gear. And most importantly, you can buy money in-game. So by selling off premium currency, which are the red one, you can buy in-game coin, or likewise the other way, I think you can sell in-game coin for premium currency that way. So in that sense, someone who is swiping will be able to just buy out all the material on the auction house. But you don't even have to buy it off the auction house. As far as I know, the cash shop actually do sell items that help you get stronger, specifically the material, like material boxes right here, random material and stuff like that. Obviously, you can grind this in-game, but it is still the fact that the cash shop do sell it. One of the biggest thing I've heard right now is that most of the strong people swiped their way to get there. One of the things that I know is very, very hard to acquire unless you grind a lot or swipe is the summon. The legendary summon, from what I have heard, is very, very, very grindy to acquire, or very hard to acquire in general unless you swipe for the material to make them. There's also the battle pass that gives you material as well, from skill point material, item exchange material, item upgrade material. The battle pass got all of it, and of course you got the battle pass shop that gives you like potions or other material by spending the battle pass point. But other than that, the monetization methods seems to be mostly just costume or even gachas. There's a lot of really cool costume to buy in this game. So if you're like a casual fashion enjoyer, there's tons of stuff to enjoy out here. I'll make a separate video like showcasing some of these. But one of the things to understand is that costume in this game can be customized and can be dyed. So that is a really good thing for a casual player. Mounts in this game is pay to win. That's because the mounts you can buy actually run faster. For example, this one run at 200% base speed and at a 262% sprint speed, while the default piggy that you get only run at a 175 base speed. And of course, finally, the gacha system that every single gacha have. The gacha system's pretty much reassembled the exact same as your typical gacha games. You got like your 80 pool pity at a probability of like 0.1% for the base probability. So you basically just have to swipe. Right now, there's two gacha banner available. You have the prince and the princess outfit, which is this one. And then you have the royal horse mount. I think you actually have to gacha for individual pieces. No, you just get the box straight up. Okay, nice. But you can pull like individual pieces for a costume. Of course, these are all optionals and stuff like that, but it is there. Overall, I think Star Residence has massive potential. I don't think this is going to be the game for everyone, especially people who are expecting more of a super traditional PC MMO rather than like a mobile adopted one. But for the people who are like familiar with Genshin Impact, Tower Fantasy, Wedding Wave, and they're looking for a game that is more like an MMO, more sociable, then I think this game is in the perfect spot between like a perfect PC MMO and a mobile gacha game. Of course, the beta is not fully complete yet. There's still a lot of bugs and we still haven't experienced like all the content. There's still many content and gearing system being unlocked away so far, and I'll continue to explore these. So let me know what you would like to see more in the future, and of course subscribe to the channel. But overall, I think this game do have massive potential, especially when it eventually come out to the rest. So far, pretty positive.